Oh my God! Welcome back, everybody. Sorry, Tyr. I just realized. Do you have a cold, or is that just allergies?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just this room. I think I came in here and just started sneezing and stuff. I don't know.
Well, that might just be allergies, or else you got one of those insta colds, which would suck because the whole family for the last week and a half with the sudden change of the weather, just petri dishes, and like the kids keep giving it to each other too. Drives me nuts. But then again, that's a short drive. So we are minus our goblin, but he'll be back with us next Sunday. But sorry I kept you guys talking for like 15 minutes. I kind of miss you guys, so I get to babbling, because it's like we all come from such unique backgrounds, and I mean, how often do I get to talk to like an entrepreneur, roofer, teacher, engineer? It's like it's rare. I enjoy the conversation, so thank you for your patience. We'll go 25 minutes after our normal time if everybody's okay with that. And I forgot to ask, I'm assuming, I shouldn't assume, are we all good for next Sunday as well, as far as your schedules are looking?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, cool. I let Gelmir know, so we're good. So we are deep into the Mad Mage's maze, folks. We have come a long way. We've gone from the Yawning Portal to the fights between the different organizations of the upper tiers of the Undermountain, and eventually arriving at Skullport, whether knowingly or unwittingly participating in the gang wars of Xanathar and helping Xanathar's organization not only lay claim to Skullport, but earning a little bit of respect and a little bit of wealth from that relationship as well. But the team got back on track as Wintrude had gathered some more information about her sister, as well as the solution to the arcane tunnel entrance that led us into the alternate dimension of one of the original students of Halaster Blackcloak. This finally led the team into the Underdark, the great mycelium forest of the Underdark that had inadvertently spilled into this very low section of the Undermountain, affording the team an opportunity to learn a little bit more about what might be down here. Unfortunately, an Urak had chased them out of the mycelium forest, and then they fled down the tunnel and eventually found the access point into the next lower level, which, where we last left off, you're standing in a very simple chamber with a very simple door shaped along the door jamb. Like the doorway itself is the body and head and arm length of a minotaur. And in its kind of like torso area is an iron door that is closed.
Oh, we had heard dragging sounds behind that, yeah.
Yeah, you heard strange noises coming from the other side as well. And I believe that's where we last left off. And I think we are on... let's see, the Sentinels were day 14. Day 15, I think we're on the tail end of day 16 of coming out of the mycelium forest.
Tail end of... Okay.
So have you guys long rested yet?
You threw one in there, kind of just
yes.
ad hoc, so we
that's right.
Start playing at level 11, right?
Yes,
correct.
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah.
So we'll say this is actually the midday point of day 17. The five of you, although Shogo, you brought people back, didn't you? Don't you have like a small family with you now?
Yep.
Nothing creepy going on.
Nothing creepy at all about that.
Can we take a short rest here?
Yeah, if you'd like to.
All right, so...
I thought we did take a short rest.
You might have. You either took a short rest right after defeating the Urak, or you took one when you found the Minotaur doorway.
I did not. I did get healing from somebody.
Yeah, for me, and then
Yeah,
I
there
think we
was some
took a
tear,
short
yeah.
rest after. Oh, maybe it
Oh.
just was the healing. I don't know.
It was
And
just-
Tyr gave out 16 temporary hit points.
Yeah, I see that. So
Yeah.
maybe we did take a short rest.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we were able to.
Okay,
Pull that off?
then I'll just take off short rest.
I just know because I have everything reset. Like all my with the warlock
have
side
not
of
done
me
it
has
yet.
everything rebooted. So
Yeah.
Okay. So what Wintrude does is while people are kind of resting, I'm gonna take out the ruby again and just see if it actually works down here. Like if I can see beyond the door and if I can see beyond it and what's doing the
Right.
dragging. If the ruby works now.
Yeah, give me perception with advantage because you are using the ruby.
Perception with advantage. Killer double threes. So that's a 14.
It's always a good start. Well, 14, I love that. I rolled a 3 plus 11.
Plus 11. So
welcome to level 10 and above, folks. You can see through the door. The door is a very heavy iron door. There's it feels very purposely built. So like you're able to hold the gem up to it and look through. And as you look through, you could see a hallway on the other side of the doorway and numerous like branches off the hallway, like numerous corridor entry points.
Mhm.
You can see other doors. It feels very much like a beginning of something in your studies that you've heard called a labyrinth.
Ugh.
Okay, I don't see anybody dragging things. But there's like a maze happening beyond there. So the good news is I don't see is it good news? I don't see the dragging, but I can see through the door. I guess that's the good news. But there's a lot of doors and corridors and passages and things.
I mean, in theory, if it's a maze, if we always just take the right path, we'll get through it eventually. Unless it shifts. Do we have I assume we have the provisions necessary for a long wander through what's probably a death trap.
I mean, one of the things I think you guys did at Skullport when you went back up to Waterdeep is you kind of provisioned yourselves out pretty well, knowing that you're going to have another 2-week incursion down into the lower depths. So I would say you've got about 10 days left of those supplies.
Then whatever Gelmir will decide to cook.
Yeah, and then there's that.
So if we sorry, go ahead, Sugar.
No, go ahead.
So let me check out the door. Let me just verify we don't have any traps. We don't have any chicanery.
Give me investigation.
Chicanery?
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 Let's just stick with shenanigans.
And Chris, you
Shenanigans.
said you're running Gelmir, right?
I can run Gelmir if you want. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, if we need him to make any rolls, I'll have you do it then.
Okay. Yeah. I wasn't sure how I can get crazy with it if you want or
I secretly sometimes wonder if Wintrude and Gelmir are like third cousins.
So my rolling investigation,
Okay.
you said? Is that what
Yep.
you said? Or okay.
Yep.
I just want to make sure I'm rolling the right
Oh yeah.
thing. We're gonna re-roll that one. Halfling. 22.
22. There are no obvious signs of hinges. No obvious sign of a door handle. There are strange copper nozzles. And there is a distinct, like, a loose stone plate directly in front of the door. It definitely feels trapped to you. And these little copper nozzles are like receded into the door itself. And they look heavily like they have burning marks.
Uh-oh. The DM froze.
Did I freeze?
For a second. You're kind of
okay.
lagging there for a second. Or maybe it was just on my end. You know what I'm scared of is I don't want to say anything. I'm scared of saying stuff because, of course, Alex will just try to open the door.
What's that one true? Did you say it's dangerous?
Yeah.
I just imagine Gelmer like coming up to Wintrude. Yeah, he's immortal. Just let him do it.
My Alex can go ahead and open the door. He'll live. Just stand back.
I mean,
you're not wrong.
And then if
so,
dies,
Richard, what did you investigate with the door?
So there are some loose stones and some copper nozzles in front of the door. It's trapped, and then the really knocking, that's bad. But even worse is there's no knob, there's no hinges on this door. I don't know how to open this.
Could we actively? Perhaps the trap is meant to be sprung for the door to open. As long as we open it remotely, we shouldn't be harmed.
Let me try to use Mage Hand to move one of the stones.
Well, let's all stand back. Back. Way back.
Well, I'll stand about 30 feet back.
If there's something to hide behind, I'm hiding behind it.
I stand 30 feet back. My family kind of crouches behind me more than 30 feet back.
So is everyone kind of crescent form all the way to the back? Because the landed chamber is only about 50 feet in total diameter.
Yeah.
With the Minotaur kind of effigy doorway in the wall. So you guys watch as Alexander kind of posts up with everybody else kind of behind and off to the side. And you watch the translucent hand kind of float over to the steel plate. 15 pounds of pressure, no problem. The moment that the hand descends on the stone plate, you watch as all 6 of the copper nozzles eject a 15-foot of flame, just off in your guys' direction. You can feel the intense heat, but you're far enough away that you don't take any damage from the effect. As soon as the hand retrieves off of the stone step, it resets, and now you can hear a hissing sound, almost like something's beginning to refill, or possibly could. With that 22, Wintrude, you get the feeling that the trap is resetting itself. Give me an insight check with advantage, because you did roll pretty high on that investigation.
Ooh. Perception. Is that what we said perception, right? My brain's
insight.
this morning. Insight, sorry.
That's fine.
Insight plus 7, 25.
25. You get the feeling it's going to take about 3 minutes for the trap to reset.
Okay, we got about 3 minutes to figure out the door, to get it open before it resets.
I Mage Hand just messing with stuff, just moving anything I can around, just
on the door. On the side
Yeah.
of the door.
Idea.
Yeah.
Like, we allow it to reset and cover the holes, and just maybe the trap just blows the door up. Often, just pops it up.
Oh.
Gelmir looks over at Tyr with this look of someone looking at a god. That's really smart. I never would have thought of that. Maybe we should all just put our fingers in them then.
Are there small pebbles to hammer in or things like that?
I get out some of my used bandages, the ones that I need to clean, and hastily walk over to the door and start forcefully shoving them into the nozzles as deep as I can.
Alexander, give me sleight of hand as you manipulate the mage hand. Shogo, give me athletics as you're trying to shove the pieces of cloth into the copper nozzles.
10.
10? Okay.
God damn it. 6.
They're too narrow, and it's too hard to jam the linen in there. It's like the nozzles are almost like start wide at the base and then narrow near the top to kind of like make the compression a little bit more efficient for the flame. Not to mention they're incredibly hot, so as soon as your like wrappings touch the copper, they kind of burst into flames from the heat, as the nozzles are like very hot to the touch.
It smells like burning sick.
Yeah, pretty much.
And I, of course, rifle through my pack that I got from that
Okay.
disarm traps or anything.
Okay.
Because I lost those from the deck, from the card I pulled. So I'd have to improvise.
The nozzles, are they like, is it just completely flat, or is there like some type of...
There's like a coin size recess, right? So there's 2, 4, 6, and each is a coin size recess into the door with these copper nozzles in the middle of the recess. They look, it's actually good. Tyr, give me an investigation check as you begin to examine them. I'll say you've got about a minute left.
I got a nat 1.
A nat 1? I mean...
For 11.
Yeah, well, for 11, I mean, technically, the one thing that it feels like is like if you could find a small enough metal object.
Can I put some gold coins in there?
It's not. It's only about a 1/4 inch in diameter. It's recessed in, but it's not enough to like jam a gold coin over it to get it, stopped up. It feels like something needs to be staked into the nozzles, is what it feels like.
I've got stakes.
We have literal stakes.
I've got climbing stakes that we've took off a dead body.
So as you guys back away once again, Alexander, you press your mage hand, and the flames come out, resetting the trap. You can hear the hissing of something filling up. Tyr, you pull out the pythons that you use for climbing gear. They look like they might fit. You just got to hammer them in there.
All right. I'll start hammering them in.
Give me an athletic. No, athletics is too extreme. Give me a strength check for starters. Okay, with advantage.
Not 1 again.
You have advantage, so you can do it again.
Oh, hell yeah. 2.
You watch as he starts lining it up.
2 for a 1.
Yeah. You watch as he's holding it and trying to hammer it. Can't quite get the strength of the hammer. It starts off okay, but it just can't get it into the nozzle completely.
All right, someone else do this. This is bullshit.
Here, let me see.
Give me a strength check as you try to see if you can get it to start hammering into the nozzle.
I kind of for a sec.
Okay.
Focus in. A strength check. Strength. Let's do strength. We're doing strength check. 4.
Like it's either it won't fit in or you can't get the strength right on the hammer. Although you dent it and bend it in such a way, the piton bends as well. That's when you kind of hear Alexander go, "Okay, everybody back," and for a third time, he sets the trap off, so you guys have 3 more minutes again.
Oh,
Gelmir.
And I don't know.
If I
don't
can, Gelmir turns into gas, and he starts trying to like just find like a crevice or something in the door just to go through.
I mean, knowing Gelmir, he'd go through the nozzle, I think.
Yeah, or the nozzle, yeah.
It feels like a Gelmir move.
Yeah.
So you guys watch as he turns into his gaseous form and starts to drain himself into the copper nozzle. Winthrop, have Gelmir give me investigation.
Okay, what's investigation look like on his? 14.
Now give me insight.
Ooh, that's a 26.
Okay. So he goes in, and then he comes back out again, and back into his Gelmir form. He's all right, I got this. Don't worry, this is easy. He reaches into his bag, and he pulls out a pair of pliers, and he starts crimping the nozzles. Have him give me a sleight of hand check, please.
Sleight of hand?
Yep.
Sleight of hand. Sleight of hand. Ooh, he has advantage on sleight of hand.
Yeah, he's a thief.
So that's a 23.
Nice. You watch as he begins to crimp all the nozzles. These are just copper. It's kind of a shitty material to be using. Okay. He starts twisting them all, and he takes out his hammer and he pounds on the nozzles. He goes, "All right, I like Tyr's idea. Let's let Alexander do it again, and let's see if this thing blows itself up." And he just kind of gets in his Gelmir crouch, holding on to like Alexander's leg and like watching the, getting ready for the fireworks.
Yeah, I tried again.
Okay. He watches the hand. So, compression and buildup, right? This is the story of a group of individuals that discovered this really cool thing called E=mc². So, as the stone plate gets pushed, all of the pressure builds up, but it's got nowhere to go but backwards.
wait, everyone run out. There's in close space.
So there's this huge sound from the other side of the door, and smoke starts leaking out from underneath the door. Like this acrid, burning smoke smell. And as all as you are waiting for this, just like this huge explosion, there's this incredibly loud, dull thumping sound from the other side. And then suddenly the entire door bulges outward. And then it just makes a creaking noise and falls to the ground as a hallway of smoke comes billowing out into the chamber.
I am glad to be wrong. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
So, Alex, as you step up to the doorway, give me a perception check as you peer into the hallway.
It's a natural 1 for a 3.
You guys are...
We're killing it! We're killing it with the rolls today.
These are the rolls that only legends speak of. The hallway is so thick with smoke, the only thing that you notice is that the 10-foot wide hallway floor that goes into the smoke is completely shattered and fractured, almost like something was being utilized from underneath the floor to feed the fire up into the door, and now the entire hallway is just a shattered ruin. It's all smoke, debris. You could see where other doors have been kind of like obliterated and blown into different directions. You could see walls half collapsed into the hallway. It is just a wreck. Passable, but the smoke is really bad.
I kind of basically like pour water over the bandages over my face to make very basic rebreather and start to walk in, investigating some of the rooms that have been newly opened up.
Okay. Put the bandages on and to fight off the smoke. Alex is in front. Right now, it's hard to get into the hallway, but Alex, as you look, you can see that the smoke is gradually lifting up and kind of drifting into different directions. Like maybe there's air currents down here. It's maybe about 80 feet directly in front of you, and there's maybe about 3 other hallways that have survived, while the rest of them are just kind of like ruined from like the explosion that happened in the internal direction. But to Wintrude's credit, there's a lot of different hallways here. A lot of it feels like a maze, like you're at the beginning of a very strange kind of maze.
Well, I'm gonna say to the left.
All right.
I don't know which left. There's a lot of lefts one could take.
The farthest left. Do you know the rule of mazes? Yes?
No.
The idea is that if you keep going to the farthest left or the farthest right, you'll eventually, by clinging to one wall consistently, you'll eventually find the exit. Unless the maze shifts, in which case, forget everything I just said.
I really want that to be true. Is that true?
Yeah.
Shuggle's like, yeah, it's true.
Okay.
We'll find out.
What do you think? Okay.
I'm coming in, but I'm kind of crouching, and I'm using my mage hand to go like this in front of my face.
Get rid of the smoke.
Clear smoke. This glowing hand just going like this.
So with Alex in the lead, you kind of get to the end of the hallway, and you find the furthest left that you can find. And looking down that far left hallway, the smoke is still crawling on the ceiling, but not as bad. There's a little bit more breathing space here. It feels like maybe there might have been more traps in this hallway because you're seeing other things that could have been dangerous, but they got destroyed when the hallway got destroyed. So like as all of you step off into that furthest left hallway, pinned up against the wall at the end of that left hallway is this huge minotaur figure, maybe about 7 feet tall, with kind of like a broken horn and wearing kind of a hodgepodge amalgamation of armor. There's a huge sword on his belt, almost as like maybe he didn't even see it coming. But through his chest and stomach are 6 very large ballista missiles that have penetrated him and then caused him to be pinned up against the wall. And the wounds are fresh. The ballista bolts look charred from maybe the damage, but he's definitely expired.
You mean like we blew stuff up, but there was a good result of the blowing the stuff up? That what?
I don't know. He might have been a good guy.
Dear. Always the rock star.
I don't know I've never met a Minotaur. And please, Shogo, don't make him talk or bring him back or anything. Let's just keep going.
You might know the way.
Okay. Oh, he might know. Oh, wait a second. He might know the way. Wait, are Minotaurs intelligent enough to talk about like some sort of discourse of like bargaining to get us through here? Do we want to talk to the Minotaur corpse? Shogo wants to talk to the Minotaur corpse.
I'd prefer to.
We gotta do this.
If he's got it,
we gotta do this.
Can I see if he's got anything valuable first?
Yeah, give me investigation as you start rifling through his corpse.
Okay. 26.
Yeah. So because he's pinned up against the wall, he's got a backpack on. And so you kind of run your dagger underneath the back part of the backpack, and all the contents kind of spill out onto the ground. It's a lot of basic equipment, almost like adventuring equipment to a certain degree.
Oh, sure. He was
Like
a good guy.
coil of rope, some climbing gear. Coincidentally, 2 lockpick kits. So, Winfred, if you want to grab one, you could grab one as well. Also, an alchemy kit, a leather journal, and a small coin bag, filled with random coins, as well as 2 iron keys drop out of his bag.
So I'll throw the bag of coins to Alex.
Okay.
I'm gonna pocket the keys.
Hey, I want those.
Journal.
Gelmir tries to keep away from Alex and can't get it.
Oh wait, I forgot. So I found a ring off the a body from the monster we killed.
Yeah.
Do we know what it does yet? I know you said it requires attunement.
Unless someone wants to identify it. I'm not sure if anyone identified it yet.
I thought I did, or
I think didn't you examine it and it had magical properties, or had an emblem on the inside of it?
I could try to identify it. My Arcana is not fantastic though.
I mean, I can try. I thought I did though. I thought I did make the attempt.
Yeah, long enough for attunement, I guess. Yeah.
And you said,
did I give you notes on it?
No, I got no.
Oh,
notes.
okay. So that was probably part of the short rest, and we probably just didn't resolve that. It is a ring of invisibility.
Oh shit.
Damn. Okay.
Nice.
It's actually a ring of greater invisibility. So when you invoke it, it lasts up to a minute, but you're able to interact, attack, and do things without it being revealed. Or without you being revealed. It does require attunement.
How many times can you use that?
At will.
Wait, what?
Yeah, no short rest, no long rest. It's invocation at will whenever you want it.
Well, that's insane. Okay. Good for you, here.
At least that's what it feels like, anyways.
Oh man, I'm about to get corrupted.
Yeah, it's like the cursed ring.
I made a joke about I was looking for an inscription. Man, I made a joke about Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
I'm for sure.
I feel like Winchard has probably read a book about this type of thing.
All right. Other than that, I'd like to take a look in the journal and call Winchard over.
Okay.
I'll throw the lockpick to her.
Okay.
Oh, thanks.
You don't even need to make a check, Wintrud. When Tyr shows you the journal, it's your sister's journal.
Oh my goodness.
You recognize her writing.
Oh my god. Okay. But so I'll
Well, fellas, could you give me a sec? Here, let me.
I'm trying to she doesn't really. She doesn't. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons, but she doesn't want to tell anybody that she's after her sister. Like down here is one of the reasons to her.
That's fair.
I want to, if I can take a moment and go through to some pages or try to glean, like if the Minotaur was part of the party, if the Minotaur had done something to.
I'm looking at the last written page. What was the last thing that was written?
I'll say as you thumb through the journal really quick before handing it off to Wintrud, there is a final written page, and it is. Do you speak Gnomish? So it'd be written in Gnomish, unfortunately.
I do.
Oh, okay. So as you begin to read, the last written page is an entry from about 2 weeks ago. And it states that... What was your sister's name again, Wintrud?
Oh, it's Orlanth.
That's right, Orlanth.
Looks like I'll put it in the chat too.
It's written in such a way that she had decided to send her guide back with the journal in hopes of finding either parents or other family members to send help.
I mean, it worked.
Was that? It looks like this guy's in trouble. I'm assuming I don't know the gender of the writer.
Yeah.
This cat was in trouble. And also
Yeah, you kind of hand the journal off to Wintrude.
Just trying to keep a straight face, or like trying to like feign scholarly interest
deception
in nerdiness instead of my face going, my eyes being as big as dinner plates, especially at the last entry. Deception. 20.
Okay.
Filthy 20.
Filthy 20. So you guys currently have a dead minotaur pinned to the wall and seems to have been the guide of whoever journaled that book. You acquire a lot of what's in his bag. The hallway continues on in kind of a weird kind of back and forth, but there's only a single hallway left that you're in. This guy's like pinned at the dog leg right of the hallway. As to Shogo's point, it continues on. And so far, no other branches to the hallway. What do you guys want to do?
Shogo, you want to bring this guy back, see if he can tell us where this Orlanth is at?
Yes, I'll do that. I take out my kind of glass cauldron, and with some difficulty, I kind of shove the Minotaur's muzzle into the strange smelling liquid contained within it. You can see things writhing in the fluid, finding their way into his nostrils, into his mouth, and after a moment, he twitches and seems to come back.
Now, is this raised dead? What are you doing?
Speak with dead.
Speak with dead? Okay.
That's the way I did it last time.
Yeah, he's like twitching, and finally his eyes open, and his huge like bovine muzzle kind of looks around. His tongue kind of distended out. He looks at the ballista in his chest. Oh, fuck. I'm dead, I think. Who the fuck are you? What do you want?
We're searching for a way through this labyrinth. Could you tell us the way?
Yes.
Please give us an explanation of how to get through the labyrinth.
Well, I came from that. And his hand comes up, creepily pointing. There's a hallway that leads to a center chamber. My master, well, she always referred to me as her friend. I don't know. A little gnome told me how to solve the puzzle in the center chamber, which revealed the pathway. If you take this pathway back to that center chamber, you can find your way to the other side of the labyrinth, I think. Although I didn't really solve that part of it. I'm having a hard time thinking about things right now. Don't know.
She was a halfling.
Gnomes, halflings, dwarves, they all fucking look the same to me.
Well, I mean, the journal's written in halfling.
Are these questions or statements? I'm getting really confused.
Sorry!
Would you like to come with us?
No.
Understandable. Thank you for your help.
What were you?
Well, I mean, technically you could ask me 2 more questions. Those other things that this silly person asked me were just statements. They weren't real questions.
What are these 2 keys for?
Oh, yeah, those are to get into the to get into the rooms that let you get to the central chamber. Yes. Yeah.
And what is at the central chamber?
Oh, it's a series of statues. There's a round space in the middle. You have to figure out which key goes into which statue, and then the statues ask you a question. If you answer it correctly, they point to the right maze to take.
What would be the most probable key that would work?
Oh, I'm sorry, that was fun. He's back to being dead.
He didn't want to join us. Disappointing.
Well, you mean like you were going to drag his whole corpse, or we were going to have to remove everything that has him pinioned to the wall?
Would you mind giving me about 10 minutes to work with this?
Oh my god,
What?
are you going to add a
With the
minotaur
corpse?
to your family?
Yes.
Is there a cap to how many you can have alive, or how many you can raise?
It's just a cap of how many I can keep control over.
And how many do you have right now? 2 or 3?
3.
3. And what's your cap? 4?
Let me check the spell.
Yeah.
DM's like, yeah, please.
Just in case. I mean, I don't.
I mean, I'm not sure that a minotaur counts as a humanoid.
It is. It's a human.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Let's see.
This is
Animate.
insanity.
Yeah, it causes a little bit
sorry,
of
one
insanity,
second.
for sure.
What does it say? Oh, you know what? No, Minotaur is classified as a monster.
Yeah.
So I thought.
So, I mean, there are minotaur PCs, so I don't know.
I leave it up to you. If you could control it, I mean.
Yeah. Okay. Animate. Let me see. The creature is under control for 24 hours after
He
which
describes it as a creature, which could be monster or humanoid.
yeah.
So yeah, you could animate this guy if you have the ability to control it.
The spell creates an undead. Choose a pile of bones or a corpse of a medium or small humanoid within range.
Okay, so
Don't think.
yeah.
I mean, it's weird. It's a potential PC character, so.
I mean, he technically is a NPC character, so I'll let you raise him if you want to. If you're
All
able
right.
to control up to 4, you can animate him.
All right. Before the 24-hour period ends, the use of this spell reasserts control over up to 4 creatures you have animated with the spell rather than animating a new
Okay.
one. So, yeah.
So during that 10 minutes, weird things begin to happen. The 3 that Shogo brought back collapse as Shogo begins to reanimate all 4 at the same time, so he could control them in a much more kind of like purposeful cycle of maintaining their animated existence. So that'll take you about 10 minutes to get that done and pulled off there, Shogo. While Shogo's doing that, what do the rest of you want to do for the next 10 minutes?
I'm gonna try to avoid the horror of the necromancy by reading through the journal backwards. I'm gonna go through from the end using Tears technique, stealing Tears technique, and going from the last entry. Like,
you gotta think positive, dude. Count backwards.
I'm Tears disappointed in that Shogo is raising the Minotaur because he specifically said he doesn't want to join us. Well,
do you say that out loud, or do I see any indication of this?
I'm just looking at you crazy.
He is no longer there. This is one of my children now.
You mean like he's a vessel? You're not bringing his soul back into the...
It's just food. Food for the needy young.
Well, I don't know what that means, but that sounds disgustingly horrifying.
Right as that moment, there's a kind of sucking sound as the Minotaur pulls itself from the wall.
Like 3, 4 ballista fall to the ground as he pulls himself off, and then his weight kind of counteracting, they clank to the ground, and this 7-foot tall Minotaur stands there as all the other children come back to normalization, as well as there's these 4 animated creatures just kind of crowding the hallway around where Shogo casts the spell.
Lead the way, Olaf, I say to the bull, already naming him.
Just starts mindlessly walking forward.
Is he walking in the right direction?
It is walking in the direction that.
It's walking in the direction that you pointed. So if you point,
Can we just go in a direction he specified?
I guess what I'm getting at here, it doesn't have any sentience beyond. It doesn't have like independent thought or memory, right?
Not really. It's
not like the
controlled
soul
by
feedback.
Shogo. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you say like lead the way, it's just gonna just walk down the hallway to the back.
I gesture towards the hallway that the Minotaur talked about.
Okay. It just kind of shambles and in a very kind of like mindless way starts walking back down that direction.
It's kind of rigor mortis fighting against the kind of new flesh animating it.
Like you guys all have these creepy looks on your face, and then there's this horrendous sound. Just this like a 2-ton block falling in the middle of the hallway. And you watch as the Minotaur turns to jelly. As a 10-foot wide, 20-foot tall slab just falls on it from above the corridor hallway. And then you hear run. Yeah, you hear like a clanking sound, and then a small, like, I think, Wintrude, what's your passive perception?
Well, Tyr and I are at 21.
Yeah, so between you and Tyr, like, you're just shocked by what just happened. And then you watch as a boot-sized stone plate slowly starts resetting up. You hear like a metal clunk, and then the slab starts rising back up again. And it looks like taffy and bubblegum, being pulled up into the ceiling, and parts of its remains kind of sloth down onto the ground. And you hear a click.
When you asked him to lead the way, was it like a damage soak or like sort of damage sponge?
Damage soak.
I'm not listening to you. I'm running up to the trap and like trying to pull together whatever giblets I can find. I do avoid the trap though.
You see. Not only do you see the 1 footfall trap, but you see more of them as well down the hallway.
I take out the ruby and then I start looking to see what I can actually see through.
It's an engineer's nightmare. It's like almost in this extension of the hallway, every other 20 feet to the furthest point before it doglegs left. Like this whole 80-foot section of hallway that the Minotaur was about to lead you down is about a dozen traps or more.
Okay.
Are there any partially intact worms remaining, at least? Or is it just complete?
It's jelly and bubblegum at this point. I mean, that was a stonefall trap. It did like 180 points of bludgeoning damage.
Jesus. Man, if I was creating a maze, it'd be super cool. What I would do is have one of the traps actually be a secret passage to go straight to the end.
And as I'm looking through, I'm like, and I start more feverishly because I take a second to look at the jelly in front of me and like this, like.
I mean, you can see that about every 10 feet is a footfall, and each footfall triggering a series of different traps. You can see just far enough ahead that they seem to stop about 10 feet before the current corridor you are in, like dog legs left yet again, right? So it goes in, up, and in, like to Shogo's point. It's kind of like this continuous dog leg left hallway that you've taken. And for what you can tell, it looks like there's a break up there, but you can't really see far enough with the ruby to determine what else might be lying down that other hallway.
Okay. Alex, like you don't mind if I take the lead for a moment and just if you guys could step where I step.
Okay.
I got the ruby glued to my right eye, and I'm just like cautiously trying. And I get up to Shogo for a second to pat him on the back.
So, you do I look back at Tyr? Do I call him Buddy? Necromancer friend. Are you gonna be okay? We can continue forward. Can you?
I need a moment.
Okay.
I take out one of my stakes and start carving a name into the wall. Basically making like this really, really makeshift grave.
Yeah, Wintrude stops you. Maybe not on that part of the wall. Use this one. As she points out a pressure plate and then kind of guides your hand towards a more solid piece of wall.
All right. I'm just going to say that takes like about a minute or so.
Okay. So you guys continue following Wintrude's lead. She carefully guides. You get to the end of the corridor. Wintrude, you're now looking down the continuation of this left. Like it's just this constant, it goes and then it bends right and then it goes, bends left, it goes, it bends right. It just feels like this continuous pattern of these dog legs. For the next 15 minutes, no real challenges or problems. The gem doesn't show you any secret doors, doesn't show you any traps. It's almost as if like this one section was designed to prevent people from getting out of this portion of the labyrinth. Unfortunately, all of you then arrive in a square chamber with 6 other hallways on it, going in different directions. Wintrude, based on Shogu's philosophy, give me a survival check to see if you can figure out which one is the leftmost hallway to continue to take.
The Shogo principle. 19.
19.
It was almost 11, but that 8 went.
Yeah. There are a lot of footfalls in this room. A lot of footfall places that if you don't step, it looks like. Give me investigation as you begin to try to figure out what these footfalls do. You can see the engineering of it. You can see what they might somehow interact with the room.
It's 17.
If you step on these footfalls, it causes the room to shift.
So it looks like, and with the ruby, if you step on here, the room will sort of rise up, turn, and then resettle. It literally controls like a shifting of the room in different directions.
Keep in mind that this would invalidate my idea of always going to the left, whatever that's worth now.
So basically the room itself goes up, but the corridors stay in the same place, or do the corridors shift too?
Hard to tell without stepping on a stone. I mean, you can see the machinations and the mechanics of it, but you don't see any harmful effects of a trap.
I'm going to take an inspiration from Alex and use my mage hand to push the panel down.
Your hand drifts over. There's a dozen of them that you can see through the ruby.
Are they laid out in any sort of pattern or sense?
Give me an insight check.
Okay, because that's what I'm wondering. If
a pattern.
18.
They're almost laid out in a continuous loop of the room. Like there's there's 12 of them. They're almost like somebody walking a circle in the room.
Okay. But they don't it's not like the way the room is now, like there's a panel lining up with a corridor, or a panel lining up with a corridor.
Give me an investigation. As
You
test
see
that
what I mean?
block.
Like, I'm just trying to think, like, if I step
Yeah.
on one, like, is it currently in alignment right now, even, or?
Give me investigation. Yeah, that's a good question.
Oh, geez, that was a good roll. 31.
So, the thing that catches your eye the most is that there are grooves near the different entry points of the 6 different hallways, but on the floor, the grooves don't match. It's almost like this room rotated recently. Maybe when he was coming through.
So, do you fellas think that the Minotaur he had to reset the room to get back out, and then there's like a way to move back to where he came from?
Sounds correct to me.
One would think that he would keep that, however, the puzzle being solved would have to stay. Like, he would just not fuck it up. Maybe he accidentally did it. Maybe it was more.
I mean, but he was right at the hallway, though. Like, he was getting out.
I don't know. Why don't we just try and step on one of these stones, try and get these markings to match?
Okay. Which stone do you want to step on?
Can you somehow see the way that the... I was going to see how the magic connects to the rotation, but that's ridiculous. Probably. All right. The one on the left, I suppose.
So basically, right now, the way it is, like, there's the stones are kind of peppered out in a circle, but it's not like they match or anything, if I'm understanding correctly.
That's a
there's no
really high
relationship.
investigation roll. For
I might be
every corridor you can see, there are 2 corresponding stones.
Okay.
It feels like, and they're positioned in such a way that if you stand on them at the same time, it feels like something's going to cause the room to start shifting.
So there's 2 corresponding doors.
Yeah,
corresponding
like for each hallway entrance, there's 2 corresponding footfalls.
All right. How many hallways are there, and how many of us are there?
So there's 6, right? There's
There are
6
6
hallways. So that means there's 12 stones.
So let's see.
Splitting up the party is always a good idea.
Well, technically, your party is like 9 people. 4 are animated dead, but that's that's just details.
3 now, unfortunately.
Oh yeah, 3 now because the Minotaur got jellified.
All right, so that's... Damn it. I mean, I guess one person could activate multiple stones at the same time.
Well, Alex and I have Mage Hand, but do we like what? Let's try to, if we try to.
So if it's a circular room, the far left principle can't hold up because there's no far left, right? Because it's a circle.
No, it's a square room.
Oh, it's a square room. That's right.
It's a square room.
It's just the stones that are.
Yeah, like the entry point you come in from, there's 2 hallways to your right, 2 hallways to your left, and 2 hallways directly in front of you. And in front of each hallway are 2 footfalls. The circular pattern comes from the look of the footfalls in like a circular motion.
Oh.
So, but I think Tia, like what you were saying is that he wouldn't have to reset it, right? Because
Yeah, unless some other force or something like resets after a certain amount of time. If it was already solved, right? I would assume that you could just walk through. Maybe there's some type of mechanism that resets it after a certain amount of time to prevent it from just staying solved.
And we can stick to Shogo's principle.
I'm gonna stand on the rocks denoting 9 o'clock.
Okay. You guys watch as Tyr walks over and looks at from his perspective, feels like the hallway to his immediate left, which would be, from our modern perspective of the 12, the 3, the 6, the 9, the 12, right? The 3-hour interval of a compass kind of bifurcation. As you do that, all of you feel the room kind of lift. And when it lifts, you watch as all the hallways shift and then settle back down again.
Are the hallways open?
They are open, no doors.
Does anyone remember what the Minotaur said back when he was him?
Use the key on a door. That's what I remember. Use a key. That's all I remember.
But those were the statues in a central chamber. I don't think we're at the central chamber yet.
I don't think he talked about this part.
He didn't talk about this part. Did he talk about this? Did he talk about this part?
I do not think so, no.
No, he just, the way you asked him the question about the keys, he just kind of gave you the information as to how he used the keys.
So if we just shifted the room, everything becomes the left, basically. If you keep stepping on if you keep stepping on the floor plates, everything becomes the left.
The strategy is to stay consistent, but because the chamber is shifting, consistency becomes far more difficult. I look back at the place at the hallway we came in. Is it still open despite the fact that the room has shifted?
It is not.
I think the Minotaur had to shift the room and able to get the hallway, access to the hallway.
And you also, with that question, after that shift, only 3 hallways are available to you now. The one you came through is gone, and only 3 remain.
Okay, so for the one we came through, the one directly is the one we came through count as one of the 6?
Didn't have footfalls in front of it. It's just where you stepped into the central room.
Well, is there a room that would be directly across from that hallway?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have a hallway directly across from you now. There's one to your right and one to your left.
And the one across from us now is open.
There were 2 open before. Now there's 1 open.
And it's the one straight across from where we came from.
Correct.
I walk through it.
Okay. You guys watch as Alex.
I attempt to hold him back for a second. Shouldn't we try and align the markings before we walk through?
My guess is that by solving the puzzle, it'll reveal which is the correct hallway. So you have 1 in 3 chance of being correct.
I am confident I am correct.
Yeah, don't worry. Let him go. I mean, he's immortal. What could happen?
I kind of hesitantly let go of his arm.
Okay. You guys watch as Alexander steps forward towards that center corridor. Wintrude does cautiously point out the 2 footfalls in front of it. So you could either purposely step on those or avoid them as you go into the hallway.
Okay, but are they blatantly obvious footfalls?
Well, I mean, now that Wintrude's pointed them out, I mean, they're about the stone size of a boot. You can see that they're slightly raised, so they would, if you step on them, they'll lower into the ground. So they're obvious to you now because Wintrude pointed them out.
I step on the one to the right.
Okay. As you step onto the one to the right, the corridor to your right seals. The corridor to your left seals. And then the corridor in front of you, a second one opens. So now there's two in front of you.
And they're what? Just adjacent to each other?
Yep, they're just side by side with about.
If I step off the pedestal, does the doors change? I step off the pedestal.
It resets, but nothing happens.
Okay, and then let me step on the left pedestal.
As you step on the other one, you watch as the two corridors merge. There's no other corridors, but now the one in front of Alex.
All right. I use my mage hand to try to pressure down that pedestal as I try to walk through the door.
Okay, as Alex does that and then steps through the corridor entrance, you watch as he steps in, and as he steps in, the corridor goes back to 2, and then the other 4 reappear. And now there's 6 entrances again. Alex, as you look back to where you just cast Maze Hand, you just see a endless corridor behind you. You don't see the others.
Okay. I scream to the party that I'm safe using thaumaturgy and see if they can hear it.
Ooh, I like that. Tyr and Wintrude, you hear a very, very distant Alexander. Like barely, like almost as if he's miles away, and you're hearing his echo.
Oh, okay, I barely hear him. Is that what we wanted?
I mean,
That's not what I wanted.
Hey, he's clearly a god now, right? That's what happens to gods. They get their own kingdom.
Yeah, but did you hear him?
Yeah, I heard him. It sounded like he said, "I'm fine. Don't worry about me. I'll see you later." Is what it sounded like.
I didn't hear that. I'll see you later.
Oh, you know, Alexander. He's, you know. And he definitely said that I should just worry about getting more gems. Yeah, that's what I heard. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Okay, but we have to. Okay, we have to follow him.
so we need to replicate what he did.
Right. So we got to step on the right. But I don't think we have to step on the left again to. I don't know why he did that.
You know, gods do things that help us remember why they're so impressive. That's probably why he did it, right? Because like when we write proverbs about Alexander now, we can say, as ye walk through the hallway of your faith, be sure to use your mystical hand to press stone. That's how gods exist, and that's how, you know, they spread their word. It makes sense.
That's a lot of superstition.
Isn't superstition just a different spelling for religion? It's the same thing, right?
I don't know. Let me just... And I hop onto the... I just jump and hop onto the right stone.
Yeah, and like you pattern what Alex did, and then it resets again, and then suddenly 10 feet in front of you down the hallway is Alex. And you can see him.
Oh, okay,
Alex, you turn over your shoulder to see the corridor open again and back into the chamber, and now you see everybody again.
In the corridor, when it was closed,
Yeah.
did I notice any other levers, foot panels, or anything like that? And did
What's
I
your
notice
passive
anything?
perception?
That's a good thing.
It is 12.
12? You didn't have a whole lot of time to look before it suddenly reverted. Go ahead and give me investigation, or give me a regular perception check. I'm just going to elevate the DC slightly because of the recreation that they just did.
Well, my investigation was at 18.
Okay.
Nice.
I'll say at that
My
moment that they reverted everything, there was a handprint panel that you were looking at that looked kind of out of place. And as you were investigating it, suddenly everything reverted back to the way it is. And you're looking, you don't see the panel anymore, but you can see everybody else in the chamber as they've kind of reset the hallway so that they can now see you.
Witcher, what are you doing? I was looking at something. Put it back.
Could we all follow him at once?
What? Hang on.
No, stay back there. I don't want you guys to die. Just put it back.
I'm trying to flip back through the journal to see if there's any notes about this room.
Give me perception. But you're doing it quickly.
Yeah, I'm like, because I always feel this pressure between Alex and Gelmir. They're like, their impatience always makes me nervous, so I mess up. That's a 26.
The only thing you find that's in reference to what the Minotaur mentioned was a journal entry called the Statues of Fate. And these fated statues are described as things that you interact with using a set of keys, and then they're supposed to lead you in different directions of the labyrinth, depending on what you're looking for. Your sister's writing says that she was looking for the access point into Blackcloak's tomb.
But nothing about like this chamber and the
nothing about this chamber. All the writings seem to be about the last known location of when the Minotaur kind of set off on his own to go get help, and then they've gone off to go do something else.
Well,
Can you just put it back for one quick second?
But we could step into the room with you.
I try to mage hand push him off the.
Well, I tell you, I mean, she's a little bit more than 15 pounds.
Yeah,
it just kind of gently nudges her in a very inappropriate way.
Not a sprite, for Christ's sake.
I'm a halfling, not a sprite.
It's just a gesture. To
Rude.
let you know.
Why are you touching my boobs, Alex?
All right, fine.
It wasn't me. It was the hand. Okay.
And
all right, fine.
By definition, the hand is an extension of you. So, hey, look, I mean, maybe when we go get drinks and have more time, but right now we're trying to not die, Alex. I mean, we need to focus.
And then I just did a huff. I jumped to the left.
Yeah, as you jump, everything goes back to the way it was. Alex, you're back in the corridor that goes on forever behind you and on forever in front of you. And sure enough, to your right is a panel with a handprint.
I put not the mage hand, my actual hand in the thing.
You press the panel. There's like a rumbling sound. And then there's like a decompression of air in the hallway that you're in. And sounds like running water. And on the very edge of your vision, the corridor is now filling up with this rushing mass of a wall of water coming towards you.
All right, it's clear. I use thaumaturgy. Open it back up.
You hear this echoing voice from Alexander again, but there's this mad, like, white noise echo at the same time, like a water sound as well.
I step involuntarily to the right, or just with dread.
The pattern again?
Yeah.
Everything like goes back to where it's just that single corridor again.
And I run out.
Yeah, you watch as Alexander jumps out. You see this massive rush of water coming towards you.
All right, get off the panel. Get off the panel. We did this one. This one's done.
I basically throw myself onto another panel.
Left or right?
Whichever I'm closer to.
Yeah,
it does.
50-50.
You hear like a rumble as the wall in front of you goes solid. There's now one hall to your right and one hall to your left.
Let's start by trying to align the symbols we saw earlier, please.
And they
I'm
weren't
glad
really
you're okay,
symbols.
Alex.
They were like grooves from the constant use of the room. And it's almost as if you could tell where maybe the initial starting pattern is with the grooves. It's just, you look at all the footfalls, it's like, okay, how do we align it? Like, how do we get them back into alignment again?
My suggestion, and this is only a suggestion, is you just let me go through each room, and then I yell, you open it back up.
Wouldn't it be better for Gelmir to do that, since he can, turn
Oh yeah,
on
but I'm not an
physical.
immortal god. You should just let Alexander. Because see, had you left him in that other corridor, he just would have, proven that he can't die. It's fine.
He would have walked on water.
Well, imagine
No, I
when
think the
Trude-
water would have tried to kill him, and it just simply couldn't do it. That's all.
Imagine if we all would have followed me in there. That would have been bad, right?
Well, I am not. You were correct in investigating it by yourself. You were correct.
Thank you. That's all I needed to hear. I really appreciate that. Seldom that you acknowledge it.
Well, can we go with the grooves idea from Shogo? Can we?
Yeah, no, go groove it up. We could be a little bit groovy.
We know that the 2 footfalls in front of the center hallway controls the corridors there. We also know that so far none of the footfalls have shown the corridor you've come back through. Currently, based on Shogo kind of leaping to the right on the nearest footfalls, it caused all the other ones to go away, and there's just one on the right, one on the left.
But the grooves aren't aligned.
They don't look aligned, no.
Me and Tyr could go through. I could go through one. Tyr could go through the other.
You nearly just died. Well, you nearly just. I look at Yelmer. You nearly just had a really bad time.
Yeah. You don't want to be disrespectful to gods. I've learned that's not good. Although I gotta ask you something, Shogo. Can you raise all the dead?
No. What do you mean?
Well, I since Alex is a god, and you raise dead people, does that mean you could raise a dead army for Alex? Like, all gods should have armies. Maybe you could do that. Never mind. I do this under stress. Yeah. So which corridor are we going down?
My family isn't a militia for you to throw into battle.
I just saying. It'd be pretty fucking cool.
I'm just saying. Tyr could do message. I could do thaumaturgy. We go down 2 different halls. We put our hands. There's a hand thing. We put it, and then whatever happens. Maybe if we do it at the same time, he sends a message. We do it at the same time.
Well,
I know it doesn't make any sense, but none of this makes any sense. I'm just trying to.
Let's just try and align the grooves first.
Okay, hold on.
We'll start there.
Line away. All right.
Yes.
So
Where are the grooves again? Like, what am I supposed to be imagining I'm aligning?
Yeah.
Sorry.
So give me, now that you're focusing more on trying to get them aligned, everybody's free to give me investigation checks as you begin to kind of like see if you can pick up the pattern.
Before Wintrude does
Another nat
hers,
1.
Jesus Christ, dear.
I basically give her like a dose of pheromones, basically my version of guidance.
Okay.
Her mind feels sharper for the roll and gets
So Wintrude, you have an extra D4 with that.
19.
19 for Alex.
So investigation.
Yep.
with a D4.
Investigation with a D4.
Whoa. The D4
4 dice.
just dropped. Oh, stupid. Damn. Okay. Here we go. We roll the 1.
Tears that trying to get all the ones rolled out of that dice.
So I now
So
have,
I got 16.
Okay.
so I now have 3 sets of dice. So I always roll before the game to see which highest roll gets it. So this one rolled a 20 of the 3. So I was like, I'm gonna use this.
This is the good dice.
Actually, it wins. It wins every single time. I
That's awesome.
only use this new dice.
Crazy.
It's
Well, the
one-
funny
it's
thing is
one of my
that's a
little
very Laura
complications.
Bailey thing.
Yeah.
But today's not a good day, I guess.
So, between Alex and Wintrude, staring at the footfalls, the patterns, you begin to finally realize where this connection might be. Each individual footfall seems to have a direct correlation with the starting point of each of the hallway entrance points. You could see the grooves of the alignment definitely give you that indicator. Judging by the wear and the usage of these footfalls, you begin to piece together a pattern. And it seems as if when all the footfalls are not being used, it goes back to the standard pattern of 2, 4, 6 hallways. once you select the ones that you want, it appears that Alex had it right the first time. You step on the left footfall first, which isolates those two entrances, and then you step on the right one next, which then isolates a single corridor. You're beginning to realize the choices feel false. That in reality, there's probably only one functioning corridor per wall. And you've discovered the straight across corridor for sure, but that felt like a trap, almost as if the obvious nature of what Alex did once there was the purpose of that trap. So it's kind of wonky that way. So chances are these other ones will do the same thing, but whether or not they'll reveal a continuation of the labyrinth is the only thing you don't know.
Just to clarify, I stepped on the right first and then the left.
Sorry, the right, then the left, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that that's what we're... Okay.
So we try that facing to the left, or which of the panels has the most wear and tear?
I'll say with Alex's investigation, the ones on the left show the most use.
All right. So I kind of shuffle up to step on the right panel, then and then the left panel. Does the same sort of thing happen as it did on
Exact same thing happens, only it shifts all to the left. As you press the one on the right, it's just the two corridors on the left side. And then as you press the one on the left at the same time, they merge. And now you're looking down into a single corridor with all the other corridors behind you gone.
I run up to the door and stop, and then I look at everybody with a face like...
I tentatively raise my thumbs up.
With no weight, I just... At that point, when he gives me the thumbs up, I just go straight through.
Okay. As you step through, checking the walls immediately, you don't even need to roll a check. There is another handprint panel on this hallway.
Does the handprint panel appear? Does it appear even though he's on the panels, or does he have to close it first?
Shogo, are you still standing on the one on the left?
Yeah, I don't think I would have moved.
Yeah, you didn't say you moved. So Shogo's still standing at the reveal point. So the corridor's still open. You can still see everyone in the chamber. And on the right-hand side, 10 feet in, is a place that you can press your hand onto a panel.
Do you want to step off first, or should I just press it?
Press it using Mage Hand. I mean, we can still see you. That's already different. You can get back into this room.
That feels different.
You can get back into this room and then activate the panel remotely. Do you want to do that?
I feel like I should be in the room when I press the button.
Well, you have Misty Step, so I think you'll be okay.
Ish.
Something akin to that. All right, go ahead.
Thunderstep? All right, I use Mage Hand on it.
Okay. Just enough pressure to push the panel into the wall. There's a far distant, like, heavy thunk. It kind of echoes backwards down the hallway.
And is it endless, or is there...
I mean, looks like it goes on into the dark. Your vision takes you to the edge of the darkness. You can't see much more unless you move forward more.
I think I might have reset something else in the other rooms. So we go to the next room next. But if you guys want, I'll totally walk down this dark hallway.
Well, let me get the ruby out. Let's take a look.
Okay, I walk back in the main chamber.
Okay, walk back in the main chamber. Wintrude, you start examining the entrance. As far as the vision and the extension of the ruby's ability to show you through the different physical features, No sign of any other traps. The hand-printed panel that he pushed in on, you could see like a complex chain system, and it looks like it runs to where Shogo is standing. And for what you could tell, it looks like if Shogo lifts their foot, the panel should stay down now, or the footfall shouldn't come back up.
So we can all walk down this corridor and the door should stay open.
Or we could go to another corridor.
Well, we don't know what's at the end of this corridor.
Right, but it could be like, okay, we have to open each corridor.
This seems like the right way to me.
Okay, then let's go.
There's no rushing torrent of water.
Okay, all right.
Or death.
All right.
Or death.
Or things.
You got to be more optimistic than that, Wintrude. I'm sure there's plenty of death for all of us.
Oh.
As he kind of follows Alex into the corridor. And sure enough, Shogo, as you lift your foot, it stays down. Corridor stays assembled, and you and the animated family all begin to kind of like follow Alex and Gelmir down the hallway. Tina, is there anything you want to do before leaving that room?
No, I'm just following.
You're going to follow? Okay.
I have magical darkness of 120 feet, so...
Yeah. As you get a little further into the hallway, at the furthest edge of your 120-foot vision, you could see that the corridor turns to a sharp right, like a dogleg right. So it feels like you're back on track yet again. Like these are a series of hallways that are going to take you somewhere.
We go to the right. There's a right corridor to the right.
Okay.
Both Gelmir and Alexander in the lead. And as you guys start going deeper into this hallway, let's go ahead and take our 5-minute break, and we'll be right back. dying for you guys to get to this point of the maze. I love mazes. They're so much fun.
So, just for my own humor, if we could possibly confirm something, if we rewind just for a second.
Shoot.
Was the Minotaur like on the verge of coming back through that door when we blew everything up?
Yup. And unfortunately, when it blew up, he had to make a deck save, and he accidentally backpedaled onto a trap. And that trap were the ballistas that came out of the wall that he was facing and skewered him to the wall. You guys, timing is everything.
I find that so good. It's so delicious the way that just all unraveled.
I bought a bunch of books from that sale that just happened for D&D Beyond.
Oh yeah,
I saw that.
The 40% sale.
Yeah, but like not everything. Like I only bought this stuff that was like over 50%, which I think probably is because I own some of it already. But like
Right,
there's just
right.
books
Yeah.
that I just needed to pick up, and then I bought the 2 new ones that are coming out, which it might be cool because I'm running the Storm King's Thunder campaign, and the new book.
Well,
It looks like
you got Glory of the Giants.
yeah, and they're about to get to like their level 8s, so I
Right.
feel that book.
It makes me feel so good that you're running a game, Alex. That's fucking awesome.
I'm trying to transition in the next session we have. I'm going to try to transition to Foundry, and so I've been setting it up, and I like it for my Pathfinder game. And I know it's like it was originally created for D&D, but it's definitely better for Pathfinder because Pathfinder just has so many complicated math sort of aspects to it. But
Pathfinder's super crunchy. It's one of the reasons why I've never become a fan of it.
it's really good in Foundry because you're just like it just does everything for you,
Right.
so you don't have to
Oh,
think.
it does all the math and everything.
Yeah.
It does. It calculates everything. So I'm trying to get it set up the
Love
same
it.
way for D&D. The really aspect I like about it is when I'm running dungeons through Tailspire or Hero Forge. No, Tailspire is like I can't like set the camera up. There's no fog of war. Whereas like in Foundry,
So here's the thing. Something I've never communicated about that. I don't want you guys to have to pay the $24 for the copy of Tailspire. And I also don't want you to have to burden your computers with running Tailspire.
right?
Now, if you run Tailspire in campaign mode and you have the players download it and then they operate through the campaign mode, Fog of War does work. And all of that works.
I tested it though with it, and it wasn't.
Did you have it turned on?
Yeah, I had it turned on. It was just not working, and the movement, like the camera angles, it's not like it's kind of like you need it to almost be top down. Like it has too many walls. It's really cool for like creating really beautiful scenes.
Right.
But
right.
I think Foundry is like,
and it's a lot easier if one person does all the movement because then you can get it all the angles that you can, it makes it easier when it's just me doing it because then it's not burdensome. But if you want that feeling of other people touching things, it's a little bit more complex from that perspective.
I'm hoping to get Foundry to work. There's because I asked the guy that runs Pathfinder like all these questions because he's like he does it really good, and he's like, oh, it's going to take you 5 minutes. It definitely did not take me 5 minutes to get it set up. I've been like, I spent I paid for Wi-Fi on the flight, and I spent like 5 hours on the flight. But there's a thing called Forge where we'll host everything, so you don't need it on your computer.
Yes.
That's $5, and so it's like it's not that crazy. I feel like once I get it to work. At least for the dungeons part in Storm King's Thunder.
Yeah. That'd be fun. That'll be a good one. I actually bought the Lore of the Giants as well because I want to. I like lore in general, and it makes things more interesting for when I use it for other creations. So, and I like giants. I think they're real fun.
They're really fun.
Yeah, I think giants and dragons are the two of the most quintessential lore pieces of playing the game. So for me, I love them both.
Well, what's cool about it too is the book, and I don't know. I guess I don't think it is a campaign, right? It's just monsters and stats and items. I think that's what I was trying to figure out.
Big B presents Glory of the Giants. It's also digital only. It's predominantly just lore and detailed lore description about all the different giants. And I think they introduced some new ones too.
Yeah, because it admittedly said like most of our campaigns do not go past like level 11 to 13, like past 13 really.
Yeah.
And so it's like we're giving you content for that if you want to feed it into any campaign that you want to run longer. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I think they're finally getting the gist that, you know, if you're going to give us content, don't just give us these railroad contents. Give us shit that we can use for more than a single purpose. So
I don't need like 18 campaigns for levels 1 through 5.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the one part I could create myself. And
I think most of us that run games could definitely agree to that. So
I could create my own 1 through 5, you know. So.
As with Alex in the lead, Gelmir close behind, you guys are continuing down using Wintrude's ability with the ruby for the next hour of traveling through these back and forth, twisting, bending corridors. Everybody give me survival check, please, as we do this.
Oh, it was so close. 7.
7?
I've never rolled so many ones. This is why I'm a halfling. Because I went from 1 to 19. So now
halflings are adorable. So
I'm at 22.
22. Okay. Tyr, what'd you get?
10.
10. 7 for Alex. Shogo?
Not 20 for 24.
Nice.
Ooh, filthy 20.
Between Wintrude and Shogo, you begin to feel like you're on the right track because one thing that you've noticed, traveling in the opposite direction, distinct, heavy iron-booted footprints that are cloven at the front. As you realize you've discovered the Minotaur's footprints coming from the other direction.
Oh, got it. Yeah.
So you've found his reverse trail, and this is what gives you the feeling that you're on the right direction. And you guys just continue to follow, continue to go and follow, and sure enough, you end up in a pretty large round chamber with no other entrances and no other exits. There are 3 statues in the middle of the chamber, which kind of matches the description that the Minotaur's dead form had given you. The interesting part is the 3 statues all look to be the same individual, but in different kind of poses. One is a wizardly looking elderly man reading from a book. Another one is an elderly wizard, same look of them, same person, using a mortar and pestle. And then the third one looks like they are holding a wand and about to cast a spell. Each statue is approximately 6 feet tall. They seem to be set up on these round stone pedestals. And then between the 3 of them, you could see what looks to be a pentagram.
So there's 3 statues and we only have 2 keys.
Which of the 2 statues has been recently disturbed?
Give me investigation as you examine the statues.
Can someone with better eyes look with me?
Yeah.
Tyr, go ahead and give me investigation.
I'll assist Tyr.
Okay, with advantage.
29.
29.
Good job.
Tyr, as you begin to examine the 3 statues, they all look like they've been equally used recently. 2 of the statues, the one with the wizard holding the book and the one with the wizard casting a spell, both have a place for the keys to go into. One key location is in like the stomach area of each of the 2 statues. Like you could just fit it right into their torso.
I'll insert the keys then. The keys that we have.
You put one in. You have 2 keys.
Yeah.
Give me perception as you look at the 2 keys to see if there's any differences.
I switched dice, another nat 1.
The 2 keys look identical.
I mean, there's only 2 potential
Yeah.
combinations, so then again, doing the wrong one may have consequences, but it's 50-50 regardless.
So which one are you doing first? The one where he's reading the book or the one where he's casting a spell with a wand? Reading the book?
Mhm.
You jam a key in. Give me a strength check as you go to turn it.
13.
13. You guys watch as Tyr turns the key. And as he does, like clockwork, the statue begins to give off a musical kind of note. And you realize that the statue is singing a song. It begins to turn in a counterclockwise fashion until it turns to face the pentagram, and then it comes to a stop. The pedestal settles into the ground. You watch as part of the pentagram begins to light up.
Do I know the song?
Ooh, give me a history check.
9.
You aren't overly familiar with it, but you remember its title, Devotion to the Dark.
Okay. And then I'll go put in the other key now.
That's not creepy.
Okay. No, I think it's pretty creepy. You guys watch as Tyr goes over to the other one. Because now you know how hard to turn. You don't need to check this one. You give it that gentle twist. You hear a clicking noise. You watch as the statue flourishes like it's casting a spell. And as it flourishes, you watch an arc of energy come up and slam into the pentagram. As it does, that statue turns towards it as well. The one with a mortar and pestle begins to rotate away from the two, and then it settles in the middle of the pentagram and settles into it. And when it does, you watch as a blue and green gateway opens up.
Well, it worked. It worked, right?
Would you like me to? I don't know.
Lead the way.
I feel like somebody should Rick and Morty this shit.
I know, right?
Touch it.
It reminds me.
Portal closes halfway through, and we get cut off. Or a body part flops. Like
So right now, the wand and the book are facing the pentagram. The third statue settled into it, the mortar and pestle, and all of them have settled into the ground. The arcane magic came off the wand and created this gate, this 6 foot tall, 3 foot wide force of energy that's like a yellow greenish hue, and it's just kind of just bubbling and warping in front of you. Mourning her son of 5 minutes.
That's on the ground. The gate?
No, it's actually perpendicular. It's like horizontal, or sorry, vertical. It's like vertical in front of you. Like you look around and you can see the reverse side of it on the other side of the arcane gate.
And there doesn't appear to be any other, like, other than the way we came. There's nothing else in this room, right?
Yeah, just the corridor you came out of.
Fuck it, we ball, and I'll step through the gate.
You guys lose sight of Tyr as he steps through the gate.
We ball. And then all right, son. Going hard in the paint. I'm gonna just. I've got that journal in my hand, and I just move forward. I just step through.
Okay, you watch as Wintrude. Wait for me! Gelmir goes chasing after Wintrude with Gribbets in tow.
Succumbing to peer pressure, I usher my family through the portal.
Shogu goes through. Alex, you're the last one in the chamber.
I go through.
Okay. One by one, stepping through the gates. As you guys step through the gate, suddenly you're in another chamber. And this next chamber is 3 statues in the middle of it, almost identical to the previous chamber. The difference this time, same wizard figure, but this time the wizard figure is kind of like giving a speech. His hand on his chest, his arm up, like he's giving a speech. The other wizard is concentrating heavily on an object that it's holding with 2 hands. And then the third wizard statue is the identical statue of the wizard with the wand, except it's not in its right hand. This time the wand is in its left hand. A familiar pentagram in the middle between the 3 statues.
We still have the keys.
Still have the keys, yeah. Tyr still has them.
Does the gate remain?
The gate closes after Alexander comes through.
You ever wonder, like, and I've read this in stories too, like there's a portal that opens and then it closes when the last person comes through. And how does the portal know that's the last person?
Living beings emit certain kinds of energy. You could easily make magic for it that reacts to such things, or the lack thereof.
The portals are sentient, so, I mean, they could close if they maybe didn't like you.
Oh, hang on.
Or that, because sure, why not?
P, section P, portal.
I just start jotting down these ideas. Unfortunately, I'm not looking at the statues for a second.
Does it appear that there would be a keyhole in any of these statues?
You do, knowing where you saw the previous one, the one statue holding the object and the one giving like what looks to be a speech, both of those statues have keyholes in the torso area as well.
So perhaps the story is he discovered something important, whatever object he's holding, and then he gave a speech about it. Unfortunately, vice versa could also be true, if the order even matters at all.
You said that the wand is in the other hand of
The previous statue, the wand was in the right hand. This time it's in the left hand.
Of this one, you said it's the same wizard. Does there appear to be any like detail of the statue that would indicate an injury to the right hand or anything?
Give me an investigation check as you examine that.
Okay.
Actually,
Rock.
it occurs to me now that
25.
What'd you get?
25.
25. Okay.
the order we
Sorry, go ahead, Shogo.
the order that we did it last time, the one was in the right hand. Did we unlock the right statue first or the left one?
You unlocked the spellbook statue first.
Yeah.
Was that on the left or the right?
That would have been on the left.
Do you want to think here, go right to left now?
Perhaps.
I'm wondering if like the order is like because in the last room, like the one on the far end moved into the middle, right? And then
Wait, so anything for the statue? Anything or just
no real damage. However, because you decided to examine the statue even in more close detail, you finally realize that there's very small faded writing on the statues, and they all have the exact same writing on each one. Chenix the Witted. The final disciple.
Chenix the Witted. So wait, so the thing is like, so the first statue is giving a speech.
Correct.
Okay.
The next one would be like he's curating or holding an object with intense look on his face. And the third one is him casting a spell with his wand, but the wand is in his left hand this time, not in his right hand.
Okay.
What do we know about Chenix? Do we know anything about them?
Yes. Well, he's supposed to be witty.
He's one of the greater disciples. I would say the common information that Alex and Wintrude have been kind of successfully doing a lot of research on the 7 disciples. It is believed that this disciple is the one that crafted both the entryway down into where his tomb may lie, as well as crafted an extensive series of layered protections before reaching Blackcloak's tomb. He's almost kind of like the engineering brainchild of the disciples.
What school of magic did he specialize in? Do we know?
He specialized in evocation, as well as what's the one for illusionary? Let me look that up real quick.
I think illusion is just the word for it.
Illusion, yeah. School of evocation and school of illusion magic. Sorry, I had an AD&D moment. Advanced D&D gave it a different name. My bad.
Is it speech first and then holding the object? Because then that would be at the end, like he created it. Because it would work with both those disciplines, right? Like at the end, neither of those disciplines talks about making something disappear. Like,
why would you make something disappear with an illusion?
Oh shit!
We went through the portal, right? And we're in this room. It appears like the stuff is mirrored.
So would it be?
Oh, is this an illusion? Are we still in the same room?
Well,
Oh God, don't get meta on me. Oh God's head.
I mean, the only thing, it looks exactly like the previous room you were in. The only difference is the two different statues, and the one holding the wand is holding it in their left hand, not their right hand.
So, but Tyr, what you're saying is, it would be holding the object. You would put the key into the statue holding the object, then the one doing the speech, and then the one with the casting would go in the middle. So you would do 2 and 1, like you would do.
Which ones have the keyholes in it?
The one where he's speaking and where he's looking intently at an object in his hand.
Okay. So whichever one is on the right, I'm gonna go put that one in first.
Just before you do that, I'd like to check what he's holding in his hand and staring so intently at.
Give me an investigation check as you do that.
Let's see.
Or perception, because you're doing it kind of quickly, so it's your choice.
Okay, perception then.
Okay.
Actually, my investigation was 21. Maybe I should stick with that.
Might give you more info. It just takes a little bit longer to do it.
Yeah. All right, I'll go with investigation.
Okay.
21.
Yeah, the object in his hand, now you stare at it more purposefully. It is, how do I describe it so it's not too weird?
You're talking to Shogo.
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking about that. They're holding a compass, but it's a stone compass. A stone representation of a compass in a mode of like a sundial, but it's only got one representation called where you just see the letter E on it. East.
Okay.
Because it's not a real compass, but it kind of looks like a compass you see on a map as a physical representation. It's just built like a sundial in a format like sundial, where there's a little protrusion coming up. The letter E is the only letter that's on it, and he seems to be staring at it very intently.
Is the direction of the compass pointing towards the other statue, or is it just in a different
towards
direction?
the one with the wand.
Huh.
Yeah, so I'll go put in key now.
For which one?
Whichever one is on the right-hand side.
Okay, so you put it in the one that Shogo's looking at.
Mm-hmm.
You jam it into the torso. You watch as the statue turns to face the pentagram, settles in place.
And then I'll do the other.
Does the pentagram light up?
It does.
Oh, thank God.
You then watch as he does the other one. Kind of moves over to face the pentagram as well. The pentagram lights up. You then watch as the one holding the wand pivots, turns towards the pentagram. Arc of arcane light. You watch as a arcane gateway similar to the previous one opens, only this one is blue. First one was green, this one is blue.
All right.
I am now trying to flip through the journal, trying to find like mentions of the portals.
Okay.
If I could. To see
I'll
if we're all
say
right,
actually
but-
off that previous last page, looking at the last page, give me investigation again, Wintrude.
Investigation again? Okay.
Yeah.
That's a 22.
Yeah, you look at the post previous to sending the guide out to look for assistance. That previous post is a summation of your of Orlant's summary of trying to figure out why the 3 different gateways have different colors. She mentions a blue one, a green one, and a red one. And then she puts in a final note. I'm going to send off our guide, and then I'm going to try to see where the red one leads us to.
So we're close.
I close it up and walk through the portal.
You watch as Wintrude just closes the journal and steps through the gateway.
I follow him.
Okay.
Me
Everybody.
and my entourage follow.
Yeah. Tyr, do you head in as well?
Yep.
You and
follow
Gelmir,
me.
last 2 to go through. You're now in a 3rd chamber. This chamber has 3 statues, all as if each one is looking up at the sky like this, in exactly the same pattern. There is a pentagram in the middle of all of them that they are currently facing, but no obvious keyholes. Round chamber, no entrance, no exit. As Gelmir and Tyr come through, the door or the gateway seals up as they're the last ones to come through.
Let's take a look at the statue.
Yeah, they're all doing this, looking and like almost like they're praising something above them.
Praise the sun.
Thank you for that Dark Souls reference.
Let's try and find any differences in these statues.
Okay, give me investigation. Or anyone's free to use investigation or perception as you begin to examine the statues in the chamber.
I look up at the ceiling to see what the hell they're looking at, possibly.
Okay.
If there's anything they would be focusing on.
I got a 15.
And I'll roll investigation on it, though.
15 for Tyr.
I got a filthy 20.
Okay.
17.
17 for Alex.
22 for perception. For me.
Okay. So as a group, you begin to look around the chamber. No obvious no obvious use of the keys actually makes sense to you, Wintrude. If your sister kept them, how would the guide be able to deliver them? So you get the feeling that the entries into the journal and whatever the guide was going to communicate to whoever they finally got to, they were probably going to describe how the statues get you to this point. And the expectation was to possibly find Orlanth and others that she had traveled with here as well. So that kind of makes sense as to why the keys,
Okay, yeah.
were with the guide. So that gives you the feeling that there's something else here that she did. And you look up and you could see a reverse pentagram up above you. So there's a pentagram in between the 3 of them, and about 12 feet up on the ceiling that they're facing, there's a pentagram facing down as well. Tyr, you walk over to the statues and you begin to examine the statues, wondering where the hell the keyholes are. While the other statue that you observed before had a reference to Chenix the Wise, the writings on each one of these statues are a little bit differently. One statue has a word on it, thoughts. Just a simple word, thoughts. The next statue has 2 words, of cold, and then the third statue has the word embrace. Each statue looks identical other than the writings. Shogo, you and Alex begin to study the chamber. You two immediately notice that recently this chamber shows signs of an incredibly cold kind of like you could see where ice is still kind of melting, and you could see where the stones look like some kind of cold impact occurred here as well.
So where's the cold? Is it on the walls? Is it on
Everywhere?
The
Like
everywhere?
residual effects of this 50-foot diameter chamber, almost as if it was encased in intense cold.
Right. So, Alex is thinking either A, this is a huge cold trap, or B, we're gonna be having thoughts of shivering as we're supposed to bear through cold winter. Like, something along the lines of a test of our resilience.
What do I have here?
Do any of you have a bag of holding?
I do.
Can I hide my children in there if there's going to be a blast of extreme cold?
Yo, Shogo, don't do that. Here. And you watch as Gelmir unrolls his portable hole. Just put them in there. They'll be more comfortable down there.
This way, children, I say, kind of leading each of them into the edge.
Yeah. Nice to meet you. How you doing? Don't eat all the cottage cheese. Yeah. Looking good. Looking good. Yeah. Gelmir kind of like guides him into like it's his studio apartment party. And then he rolls up the hole and puts it back in his backpack.
I stand on the center pentagram.
Okay.
And looking up at the top pentagram and the bottom, and I what do I do?
So I'm wondering if it's like a thing of shooting some cold spell or something at the third statue, the first statue, and then the middle.
So for the thoughts one, I want to cast Mind Sliver on it while standing in the pentagram, which is like a damaged mind psychic.
Yeah,
energy spell.
Is that cantrip or an actual spell?
It's cantrip.
It's cantrip. You use the idea of a thought spell, a psychic, you think, and you execute the cantrip. You watch as you focus on the statue with the word thoughts at the base of it. You immediately watch as the statue, its arms up, its fingers and arms begin to go like this, looking at you on the pentagram, and it's just staring at you now.
That was clever.
Thaumaturgy on the one that says embrace, and I just proclaim.
If you do that, it might be out of order. Because there's the one you just interacted with, which is thought.
I don't have anything cold.
Yeah, the next one says of cold, and then the final one embrace.
You guys have anything cold?
I mean,
Cold steel, baby.
I'm a motherfucking rock star.
Dude, he always talks like he's in a goddamn. It's like he's in Mission Impossible or something like that. I got cold steel.
I got cold steel, bitch. Come over here and play with it.
I sort of.
He's like that action star where it's like, surfs up and then he kills somebody with a surfboard or something like that.
It's like Commando.
Yeah.
Don't be so lonely. You might get blown away.
God damn you.
What's kind of interesting is I have a spell with the term chill in it, but it's like one of the most misnamed, like badly named spells in the entire game.
There's plenty of badly named spells in the game. Like Booming Blade when it's not a blade.
But in any case, if it's a cold spell, you can try and cast it.
Yeah, what's the cold spell?
Yeah.
I sort of raise my arms to the
You guys stand in the pentagram.
with the statue that says of cold, and basically launch this sort of burst of eggs onto it as I cast Chill Touch.
Okay.
Basically, writhing things start.
And that was my
all over the thing.
Yeah, and the one thing I didn't do quite as well as I meant to, and I apologize. While I was describing the pentagrams are large. Like they feel like teleportation pentagrams is what they feel like. That's how I should have described them. So there's plenty of room for multiple people to stand on them if you choose to.
That makes sense.
So Shogo, you walk over to the statue and cast Chill's Touch on it. You watch as the arms come down, point towards where Alexander and the others are standing on the pentagram.
The worms that hatch writhe their way over to me and slip under my bandages.
Hell. I'm gonna send the pentagram, but I'm also gonna call over Wintrude and Gelmir, and I'll say that Wintrude and Alex should use Mage Hand to do the embrace as like a hug. In conjunction.
Okay. I was just gonna say how much I love you all, but this is fine too.
Well, that's rather sweet of you.
Hug the statue.
Okay. Try to get the hand. I'll take the right hand side.
Yeah.
Move the
I'll
hand
take
over
the
and try
left
to
hand side.
push in like for a hug.
Are you two group hugging a statue?
Yeah, remotely, telepathically, they're doing a group hug.
I mean,
Look at us agreeing on something.
While this is happening, I'm also saying like, "Oh, I love you guys so much."
Whoa.
I mean, it's a lot of good vibes, but statue doesn't do anything. Still kind of remains in that upward position.
Ah.
I go and I hug Tyr on the pentagram. And I really bring it in there. I say maybe there's just not enough hugs.
I really bring it
This
in there.
big, like, hulking tiefling comes over to Tyr and just, come on, man, bring it in. Just...
And as much
Be
as
the
you
change
resist,
you want
I
to
think,
see in
can
the
you hug me
world.
back, please?
Can you hug me back?
Tyr?
Yeah, I'll hug him back.
Tyr goes, all right, man, this feels okay. You hug him. I mean, it's a great scene. I mean, you guys have had this kind of warmth for a while, but the statue remains firmly gonna just looking up.
So I kind of I trot over and try to leap up, and as much as I can get my arms like in the shoulder, probably just under the arm, I try to give the statue an actual hug.
I mean, it's a lot bigger than you. Give me acrobatics just to make sure you don't hurt yourself while you do it.
Christ. 22.
22.
Yeah.
You guys watch as the little halfling skitters over, jumps up, and very awkwardly, like a small
Just
child.
kind of, jump like.
Yeah, like a small
An
child
angle.
trying to hug a very large object, a statue-like object. No, I mean, it's cool. I mean, it's a great idea, but the statue doesn't seem to shift at all.
Grab
Maybe
the hands,
one of us
grab
has
the
to
hand.
endure like cold or thoughts or something.
Grab his hands.
Let me try one more thing, please. I cast Healing
And Tyr, I would
Word.
say when Wintrude did that, it would force him to grab the hands, and as part of the effort, nothing really happens.
I cast Healing Word on the statue,
Awesome.
basically
Yeah,
some sort of living bandage kind of flutters from my arm landing on the thing.
Let me check something real quick on that, see if it meets the requirements. I guess technically it could, because it's evocation.
Oh, I got you. Oh shit.
So, as you between the psychic effect of the first statue and then the cold effect of the second statue, embracing the evocation of healing, a sense of kind of giving the indication like the others, the physical idea of it, the physical idea of embracing and healing each other's thoughts and bringing each other into like a healthy kind of existence. And even at some point, Gelmir's doing one of those awkward hugs at his height where he can't help but like hug everybody at the waist level, you know, with the exception, you know, well, getting in on Tyr and Alexander's hug, it's just like a small, almost as if Tyr and Alexander have a small child and Gelmir's in there hugging as well. But yeah, Healing Word activates the third and final statue. And as you guys begin to watch as above you, about 5 feet, extending from the pentagram below, and then coming up from the pentagram, from above, and then from the pentagram below, the energies collide, and then a swirling red gate begins to form.
This is the color of the last gate from the journal. And then what happened is they worked, the Minotaur worked his way backwards. So we're just going. And in very unwintrude-like fashion, I just stow the journal and run into it. Because in her head, she's like, my sister's probably behind this portal. She keeps thinking.
Mm-hmm. It's possible.
I shamble after Wintrude.
Okay. She doesn't get to go before me! As Gelmir goes chasing after Wintrude and Shogo. Alex and Tyr, do you follow in as well?
Yeah.
Okay. One by one. Alex bringing up the rear this time, being the last one through. This travel feels different. The last time you felt this way was when you had to solve the disciples' lab that was in a different dimensional place of existence. And it feels different because you're traversing the planes. You feel like you're plane shifting, is what it feels like.
Mm.
So, since Wintrude was first, Wintrude, I need you to roll a D100, please.
Oh, I haven't rolled one of those in forever. D100. 50.
Zachary's like, wait a minute, what the
Smack
fuck?
in the middle. 50.
A 50?
Yeah.
All right. Actually, that's actually pretty good. Before long, as the easiness wears off, the kind of feeling of like you're about to puke from the vertigo and the shifting of the center of gravity. No real ground, no real up. Just this sense that you're passing through endless space so fast that you're not even sure where you are. And then all of you feel the sensation kind of fade, and you're standing on blackened rock.
Oh, okay.
There's smell of ozone. There's a breeze, and off in the distance, crack of lightning off in the distance. No sunlight to speak of. A strange kind of discolored moon off in the horizon as well. A kind of green and red moon with a kind of like part of it is destroyed, and there's like pieces of rock, like, you know how like if you're looking up at an old sci-fi of the moon being destroyed, it's almost like you're looking at something like that. And all throughout the landscape, just blasted rock and deteriorating kind of just dark apocalyptic blasted mountains and cliffs. A nearby tree so grotesque and distorted with disease and like it's a dead massive tree. And way off in the distance, down in like this huge valley, you could see this rising kind of cityscape. Dozens and dozens of like these huge fortress-like towers rising off in the horizon. The thing that catches Wintrude and Tyr, over by the dead tree, an abandoned campsite.
So you're saying maybe I rolled okay?
Feels like it.
Wait,
I don't know how I did with the 50.
I mean, we did end up in like some sort of apocalyptic hellscape, so
how
this
does
might be
the
what we're looking for.
D100 work?
Say that again, Tyr?
So how's the D100 work? It's like 2D10s or?
It's a D10 and then a D100. So like there's one with double digits and then one that's like your standard 10. So that when you roll it, it'll give you a 45 or an 82 or.
Oh, I forgot.
or
Okay,
1.
well, I did forget. I only rolled a straight 100. I wasn't sure if you wanted me to roll the D10 with it too, so I did. Roll straight up.
The
Sorry.
variation of 50% won't make that big of a difference.
Okay, just wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay, so
What
yeah.
I
I'm
want to
seeing
do
it.
first actually is I want to see if I can see the direct I want to see if I can see the footprints leading away from that campsite and then work my way back to the campsite. For some reason, I'm just curious
give me
about.
give me a survival check as you go to examine
I don't know why,
the
but
campsite.
yeah. Filthy 20.
Filthy 20. First of all, the campsite feels maybe about a week or so old.
Okay.
You do find 4 sets of halfling-sized footprints leading towards a cliffside pathway, and it looks like there might be some rope hammered into the upper portions of the pathway that look to descend directly down into the steep cliffside. When
Oh, so they
somebody
kind
went-
of
like
scaled it down.
Yeah, it looks like maybe they did some mountain climbing downward into the basin valley.
Is I kind of follow Wintrude and search through the campsite. Is there anything left of interest?
Give me investigation as you examine the campsite.
Let's see.
And of course, if I maybe it's obvious, but it leads the way, goes down the cliff, but the cliff goes towards that city or set of buildings
Correct.
in the distance.
Yep.
Then okay, just for my notes.
Dirty 20.
30-20. They did a pretty good job of cleaning up after themselves, with the exception of the fire pit. There's signs that they took a long rest before they finished their dealings here. They ate food. At least one person was injured, as you find some kind of residual bandages and kind of blood stains. So someone had sustained some injuries recently. But yeah, other than that, they took everything else with them.
Well, at least they left in a relatively orderly fashion, so that's a good sign, at least. Windra, do you see anything up ahead?
Well, the basically they left their camp and scaled down these cliffs here, and I'm guessing just moved through the valley towards that city in the distance. Is it a city? They went towards the only thing standing.
All right, let's follow.
Indeed.
So as you guys pass through the campsite and head over to the cliffside edge, there are 3 different ropes descending down into the valley. With Alexander's pretty good vision, looking down as far as he can. About 100 feet down, it looks like there's a ledge that they took a pause on and then lashed some more ropes to the ledge to go down even deeper. Unfortunately, Alex can't see beyond 120 feet, and it looks like it goes deeper than that.
I don't know if any of us can see beyond 100. I mean,
I think Alex is the one that can see the furthest.
Well, I don't know. I have Devil's Sight, so yeah, I can see 120 feet, but even if it's dark, I see it in perfect color. But
yeah, so at the furthest point, you and Alex could see that it looks like they got to a ledge, added some more rope to that ledge, and continued downward.
Okay. Can I make it to that ledge?
You guys just want to jump?
Oh shit! You know what I just thought of? So hang on, let me just verify a detail here before I do this.
Go for it.
Trip people the fuck out, but oh, so I kind of look back at the group and down at that ledge, and I just jump because I have a ring of feather falling. So I go. I just descend slowly 60 feet per round.
Yeah.
And I just kind
of a very slowly kind of floating back and forth. Wintrude is making their way down towards the ledge.
Doesn't that affect multiple people, or am I remembering that wrong?
It depends on the. It's not a spell. It's a ring.
I see.
A ring.
I have Featherfall though. That's what I said. We could just jump.
Yeah. Do it, Tyr. I've always wanted to do that. You go first, Gribbets. Follow Wintrude. Gribbets flies up and follows Wintrude down.
We'll wait to hear a message Wintrude when she lands.
Yeah, on the ledge first.
Yeah, so Wintrude, you and Gribbets get down there first. You can give me survival or perception, your choice.
Ooh, perception would be probably better. Yeah, perception would be 17.
Yeah. The next series of ropes drop the full 50 feet down, and you can tell that it was just enough to get them down there. Your sister Orlanth is more of a physical, reliable person. She's not big on spells. So this is more of her physical ability that she has. She's always been better at it than you, but you're not overly surprised. And once again, you see the signs that they gathered here for a brief moment. With that perception, looking down, you could see a crumpled up form on the ground. About halfling sized.
So I'm going to send message and ask Wintrude if she can see the bottom.
Okay.
It's about another 50 feet down. There's a body at the bottom.
Does it look, does it look damaged by falling or?
It's too far away. It's hard for you to tell, Wintrude.
I jump down there.
Yeah, you leap off to get the featherfall effect, and it is a halfling, but it's not your sister. They're male, and it looks like they might have fallen from the very top because they are broken, broken arms, broken back, broken neck, broken legs. They fell probably 170 feet to this point while they were descending.
So I send back up to Tyr.
Whoever this was fell probably from the top.
All right.
I think message is only good for 120 feet.
120 feet, yeah.
Yeah.
But
also won't reach back up.
Yeah.
If I would have seen Wintrude drop down, I would just start telling the boys, let's go.
Okay.
Let's jump.
You cast Featherfall, and then one by one, all of you kind of leap off the edge in that kind of creepy kind of way, bypassing the ledge, and all of you land gently around Wintrude.
Do you guys play Tears of the Kingdom?
I haven't yet. No.
In certain areas of the sky terrain, you have this effect where you leap up, and it's like you're on the moon. There's less gravity, so you're and that means you fall in slow motion too. You're kind of like. was just kind of picturing. And it does mess you up, like, because you're so used to jumping regularly. Like, the physics are totally different.
All right, we're down there.
Yeah, everyone's down there.
Seeing
You
the.
Yeah, being down here on the ground, you can see that you're at the end point of a ravine that's worked its way up towards the cliff. So looking down, all of the building structures off in the horizon of the valley are now way taller than you. You can see that there's obvious footprints of 3 remaining halflings going into the dead forest of this ravine. It's just this dead, sickly looking forest that fills the valley, going in the direction where you could see way off in the distance all these huge monolith-like style buildings of iron and stone way off in the distance, and every now and then a crack of lightning off in the distance as well. And they're crumpled up on the ground, broken, distorted, twisted, and in a good state of rigor mortis and a little bit of decay. The remains of a male halfling. Their pack has been taken, and their cloak has been kind of ceremoniously laid across their body, and Wintred had to pick up the cloak hood to even see who it was. It's not someone that you're familiar with. You're not really sure who it is.
Would you like me to speak with them?
Okay, you're not going to turn it into a family member or anything, right? I don't know if I want to.
I would talk to him.
Yeah, well, let's talk. Yes.
What's going on from them guys?
All right. Let me get that set up. Actually, I don't have enough worms left to do something like that right now. It would be preferable that we carry this body so that we can speak to it after I've been given time to rest.
I got plenty of room in the hole. You just throw them in there with your other family. They're not going to eat them, are they? They don't eat people, do they?
The worms feed off of the undead energy. They don't need food.
Good.
Okay, I'm trying to think strategically here. If we catch up with the rest of this party, do you think that just what impression are we going to make if we pull out their dead colleague and well, I don't know. I don't know. They purposely left the body here in a sort of ceremonious fashion. Maybe not disturb it. I don't know if it's something we should just carry along with us.
The advantage of carrying the body is that we can perform a more proper burial later on.
Oh.
I don't think I'd want to be buried in a place like this. And he's literally been left out with only his cloak to protect his body. Gelmir, please open the hole.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. All right. Richard, you okay with this? This isn't like a first or second cousin or anything, right? I mean, sometimes I think all of us goblins are kind of related, so I don't know if you halflings are the same way,
Well, it's just.
But don't worry, I'll be careful. He unrolls the portable hole, and he just kind of very unceremoniously, you guys better look out. Just kind of flings the.
I just turned to the side. I just turned to the side.
Flings the broken body into the hole. All right. Oh, I told you not to eat the cut. Whatever. It rolls it up and puts it back in his bag.
We will give them a proper burial when we return to the surface. Don't worry.
Yeah, but as we learned, otherwise, bodies don't keep in there.
I'm aware. I can extract it if you are uncomfortable. You need not ever look at them again.
That smelly smell. That smelly smell. That smell.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Not knowing day from night, while this has a skyline, a massive dead forest in front of you, we'll say from your own kind of understanding of time passing, it's roughly the end of your normal traveling day at this point. So if you continue on and push on without a long rest, there's risk.
Oh, so we should strike.
Before
Hey,
we threw the body in the hole,
Yeah,
was
go ahead,
there
Tim.
any indication of like any wildlife or anything that might have been feeding on the body?
Surprisingly, not even needing a check, no sign of intrusion of any kind of carrion. No insects, no small, like carrion like creatures. Almost like this place is too desolate to support it.
So could be safe to camp down there.
All right.
Lovely.
I vouch for that. I need time to rest.
I would love to go through this journal some more.
All right, with that, I start setting up a camp site. I request that Ghelmir open the hole so that my children can come out.
Okay. Rolls it out. Yeah, you might have to help them out, though. Do they know how to climb, or I don't. I've never hung out with dead people before. I mean, I search them for shit, but I never hang out with them.
They kind of assist each other in climbing out.
Okay. The bigger one of them comes out while the other two are pulled up from the big one. So they're now out with you as Shogo is beginning to set up a camp of sorts. I'll get to cooking. And Ghelmir just starts finding just stuff on the ground and starts rummaging through dead plants in his bag. And I'm just going to go check the edge of the forest. I won't go in, I promise. And he immediately disappears into it.
Bastard.
Before anything, I'm just going to take a moment to sing to my children and reassert control back over them.
Okay.
Some of my lost spell slots.
All right. Anybody else want to do anything?
I'm reading the journal from the beginning now.
Yeah, give me investigation as you do that.
Instead of trying to work backwards. That would be that'd be 38.
Jesus.
No, wait, not 38. That'd be 28. Sorry.
Okay. All right.
Sorry about
Makes
that.
a bit more
No,
sense.
that's some skills.
Sorry, my brain kind of for a second. It's like no, that's 28. Jesus Christ.
The journal tells a story of your sister obsessed with the idea that the reason why no one's ever been able to find Blackcloak is because he doesn't actually exist on the prime material plane, as, and that his body is stashed somewhere else. A lot of her research is around something called Shadowfell, and she seems convinced that's where his tomb is, and she believes it might have been abandoned, or it might have been that he might have been entombed in one of the many abandoned shader village or shader cities of the Shadowfell. A kind of nefarious kind of dark dwelling drow like elven creature that dwell within the Shadowfell, live there physically. Writes well over almost 6 months worth of research, study, and travel. Says that she took on a guide and 3 individuals expert at underground travel and investigation. 2 are rangers. 1 is a kind of roguish individual, and then your sister. Obviously, no entry beyond trying the Red Gate. But the Red Gate seems to be a culmination of her theory, at least. And most of her research and writings kind of match what you're seeing. This feels like the Shadowfell.
I'm kind of surprised that I didn't sense that this was the Shadowfell, since, I think I would be able to feel the necromantic energy of the place.
depends on where
Right.
you end up.
That's fair.
You know, the Shadowfell is, and I'll say from common superstition, knowledge, and mythos of those that exist in a world that truly believe in other planes of existence. Technically, the Shadowfell is a bubble of energy with nexuses all throughout it. Some say that if you arrive close enough to Bunrovia, you would feel that kind of energy of a very powerful undead creature nearby. Some have said that depending on the creatures that inhabit certain areas of the Shadowfell and how they interact with the magic and the undead and necromancy tendencies of the Shadowfell. In fact, for you, Shogo, if you share this with everybody, do you share?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, Shogo, as you're listening to Wintred read and summarize all that information in the journal, the lack of the feeling is actually more disconcerting. Like, this feels like a dead zone. That nothing lives here. The condition of the halfling corpse. The fact that you don't feel any necrotic kind of energy emanating from this particular city that you could see off in the horizon. If it is an abandoned Shader city, it could be or should normally be inhabited by undead creatures that were never used as vessels for the Shader. So you're a little bit confounded by the fact that you don't feel a connection here.
This place seems sterilized almost. Like any kind of life or undeath here has been purged completely. This seems that I don't know how something like that would be possible.
I don't know if I want to utter the L word, but lich.
Don't see what.
But if you're in a place where death and life both don't exist, and you're undead, maybe there's some sort of paradox or some sort of magical sidestep where you don't. Maybe it's skipped. I'm just theorizing. You don't have to go for the. I don't know how much you know about liches, but I swear to the gods, you're somebody who probably knows more than I do with the worms and the friends and the family. They don't need a phylactery maybe as much, or like maybe they can be in stasis if they're not exactly active. You know what I mean? Like a decaying sort. The problem with liches, of course, of being a lich is you have to collect souls all the time, but maybe you don't have to in a place like this.
I'm not sure. I actually, lichdom was something.
Or maybe all the souls have been collected, and that's why
Have any bearing on my goals? What did you say, Tyr?
I said, or maybe all the souls have been collected here, effectively, purging all signs of life or undeath from this region.
That would make as much sense as anything. Something as
I nod my head
strange.
and I pull out like my journal and I go to the Blackcloak entry and I'm just like,
Oh, that's a consideration. I didn't want to think about that here. Thanks a lot.
Keep a sharp eye out when we rest tonight, please.
How long have we been here so far in this region?
I mean, barely an hour at this point.
yeah. Especially because we didn't have to spend all that time going down a gigantic
Yeah, I
cliff.
mean, with your guys' skill set, you were able to, you get the feeling they didn't have the ability to do that for whatever reason and climb physically down.
I more so ask because I'm curious, do we feel any negative effects from being here
for
an hour?
Give me an insight check.
Oh, nice one. Okay. 24.
You feel exceptionally hungry and extremely tired.
I thought the effects of the Shadowfell seemed to not affect this particular place.
But it couldn't be.
You feel that way.
It couldn't be the Shadowfell. Or it could be if we're, theorizing whatever. What if there's just some powerful something that is draining this entire region of everything.
Generally, you would do that through some form of necromantic magic, but I don't know, perhaps this is something different.
I don't know, just was curious.
I have a
Eventually, you guys
feeling
watch as Gelmir comes out of the edge of the dead forest. Ha! Couldn't find anything out there, just bones and dust and stone. Those trees don't seem to grow anything. Found this, and he's like holding up this purple worm. I'll see if I can cook it into something.
Can I take a look at it and try and identify that?
Yeah, give me a nature check.
All right. Come on, I'm supposed to be an expert in worms. 4.
4?
Yeah.
Man, it looks just like a big old worm on Gelmir's hand, like he's holding it. It's undulating and kind of, it's maybe a foot long and 3 inches around, and it's kind of cool. I might keep it. I don't know. Let's see how it tastes first.
I mean, it being a worm, you could technically do both. Cut it in half, keep one half as a pet, eat the other.
Oh, wow, that'd be really cool. You do that with people. Anyways, okay, yeah. Let me go see how this works.
All right, let's set up camp. Let's just take this rest then.
Yeah.
Push on in the morning.
If there is a morning here.
Yeah, Shadowfell's a weird place. So you guys settle in, setting up the camp, keeping a watch out while you do set it up. Gelmir eventually gives up on the worm and just kind of tosses it aside. All of you can see that he's heavily bandaged his right hand after giving up on the worm. Kept biting me, fucker. And just kind of goes back to his pack and his portable hole, and he's like putting together what he thinks is a pretty decent meal. He's not being overly creative, so you guys can have a decent meal for once without it being weird as fuck. But all of you, with the exception of Shogo, just having this pervasive sense of tired, hunger. Like you eat a lot of food and you still feel hungry even after you eat. But you push through. Your footsteps feel a little heavier by the end of the evening when you're kind of like, just get that feeling of a long day settling into you. Setting up your bedrolls and deciding who's on watch first. Tyr looks the most sullen. Gelmir has a kind of peakishness about them as well. But all of you just kind of just, maybe it's just the long, hard day of finally getting to this point. I need everyone to make Constitution saves, please.
All right. Could I keep, part of the worm, whatever?
Shogo, you get advantage on yours. And
Okay.
you're keeping the worm?
I'm keeping a part of the worm that Gelmir messed with, just in a specimen jar.
So we're doing a
Okay.
save, right? Con save?
You guys are all doing con save. Shogo gets advantage.
That's an 8 for me.
11.
11 for Tyr.
19.
19. What'd you get, Shogo?
26.
26. Somebody roll for Gelmir for me, please.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's
Gelmir's
fine.
would be... Gelmir's Constitution save is... Shit, a 3. I rolled a
3.
1. Sorry.
Sorry, Gelmir.
Sorry, Gelmir.
All right. What's the order of watch?
I'll go first.
Okay, Wintrude, take the first
Which will
watch.
go first, yeah.
Who's taking second watch?
I'll go last. I can tell that this place is affecting everyone else.
Okay. Who wants to take second watch?
I'll take second.
Yeah.
Tyr will have second watch. So, Wintrude, as you watch the others kind of settle into the beginning of their long rest, you stay up by kind of referring to the journal from time to time, keeping yourself awake, but also keeping a good eye on things around you. Go ahead and give me a perception check, please.
Perception. 27.
Other than the 9 hunger and the sense that you just want to go to sleep, Once again, it's the absence of things. Not a bird, not a sound of an insect. You're expecting a massive spider of untold horrors to come crawling out at any minute, but nothing. Just the pervasive horizon of those great iron, stone, fortress-like structures off in the distance. No light emanating from anything. No sense of the rhythm of dark and light, day and night.
But has the light even changed or anything here?
No, it doesn't feel like it. It's just
the
this
same
dreary, kind of overwhelming feeling of the inevitability of apocalypse all around you. Just this dead feeling all around you.
I start a Shadowfell entry in one of my blank books I swiped from that dimension room.
Okay.
Noting
since you did so good in your perception, you can give me a history check as you are able to now start summarizing information that you remember from the Candlekeep in regards to the shader.
You mean my badass 8 that I just rolled?
You didn't spend a lot of time studying them, unfortunately. But the one thing you found interesting about the shader is that these particular dark elves that resided in the Shadowfell believed that when they died, their bodies were guided by the Raven Queen and then brought back into life through alternative vessels of reincarnation. Once again, that continuing regeneration, kind of reincarnation myth of all elf species to a certain degree. Some think it's the sun tree. Some think it's the glow of an ancient, lake that they adhere their belief to. Or some believe that the Moonshae Isles are the focus of the rebirth of the elven spirits. Elves never truly die without the theory of reincarnation and the theory of coming back as another elf form, but a distant memory of themselves here.
Is that in Forgotten Realms in Faerun? Is the Raven Queen connected to the Shadowfell? I can't remember that part of things, or I can't remember.
She kind of is a little.
It doesn't have to be Wintru knowing it. I'm just wondering in general.
I mean, from a meta perspective, she's often used different planes of existence to help people pass from life to death.
Okay.
But as you finish your watch and you go to wake up Tyr for his watch, your memory's fuzzy. Like, what was I working on? Oh, yeah. You kind of wake up Tyr. Tyr, as you feel Wintrude nudge you awake, Wintrude looks very kind of pale, tired, and she wakes you and just, I didn't see anything, and just kind of goes and lies down, is immediately asleep. And now you're on watch.
All right.
Go ahead and give me perception check as you don't really feel all that rested.
19.
19? This place is miserable. Still not a sign of anything. Nothing crawling in or out of the dead forest. No sense that there's life here at all. And that just begins to work against you. Your thoughts, your feelings. I need you to give me a con save with disadvantage.
Oh, Lord. Damn. 8.
8. It's another 8. That's what you had last time, right?
I think I had an 11.
Oh, yeah, you had the 11 last time. As you just feel this overwhelming sense of malaise and exhaustion taking over yourself, you look over to see Gelmir, sound asleep, but you could see from where he got bit, there's like this purple and red infection spreading up his hand and into his arm. But he's fitfully sleeping. Alexander doesn't look like he's having a comfortable sleep at all. The only person that looks like they're just in the embrace of a very good night's sleep is Shogo. Just this very passive, pristine look on their face, at least of what you could see of it. The children kind of spooning her or Shogo in a way that her the daughter, the other two children, just resting in their kind of meditative state. But always on the edge of your mind, something, you shake your head like you just heard a voice. You begin to look around and you stare down at your hands and they're just skin, bone, and you look at them and you blink and then they're back to your normal hands again. Your eyes begin to dilate. You feel a sense of deja vu, then a sense of dread. You feel a gnawing hunger. Your mouth begins to water and dry at the same time. You, confused by this, you hear voices calling to you, echoing out from the buildings off in the distance. This strange voice calling you child, calling you to its embrace, but guiding you to feast first. You feel your uncontrolled sense of your form, of yourself, like walking over towards where Wintrude is sleeping. And you look down at her, and she's already
not tasty looking.
Already in a deep sleep. You feel nauseated. You feel hunger gripping you. I need you to give me a wisdom save with disadvantage, please.
Please don't bite me.
I guess, I mean, also I don't know what's going on, but I do have an advantage against being charmed. I don't know if
This is definitely not a charm.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's nothing charming about this.
No, there is not.
13.
13. You just hear this voice in your mind just convincing you. Wintrude looks delicious. This voice telling you to feast ravenously first before making your journey through the forest to lie in their embrace. Dark, wild, black and white hair, red eyes sunken deep into a skin and wrecked face, but always the familiar nature of their form in your mind as you feel Halaster Blackcloak's embrace around your mind. And you begin to slowly descend towards Wintrude with drool and bile beginning to drain from your mouth, your mouth opening as if to take a huge bite from her neck. That's where we're going to finish tonight. When we come back next Sunday, we'll see if Tyr can avoid feasting on the sleeping Wintrude. Shogu, I said nothing here has affected you. What else could that possibly mean? You already play with dead things.
Shogo's physiology is unique. I'll put it that way.
Is very unique. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will see you next Sunday. We'll have Gelmir back. We'll resolve the thing that bit his hand. That's going to be fun. And then we'll find out if Tyr's going to decide to consume Wintrude and have a halfling dinner. Other than that, please be safe, be kind. Don't forget to play a game. We'll be back next Sunday. You guys go ahead and hang out for a bit because we're close to another milestone. So hang out and we'll chat about that in a few moments. Good night, everybody.